By earth, by air, by fire, by water, I create this space sacred. A spirit that moves through all things. May wisdom dwell within. May it be empowering. May it be connective. May it bring deeper awareness and peace. So mote it be. The new moon in Aquarius was at 4:07 p.m. this afternoon here in Pacific Standard Time. And I want to do a reading about what energies that's bringing into our awareness, how to partner with those energies best, and any other insight and wisdom that we can carry with us as we move forward through this moon cycle. I've got a piece of dodecahedron quartz here holding space. Many facets bringing clarity and perspectives, and a clove-scented black cat candle that is a black-brown color burning here. And I've got the Wildwood Tarot and my journal for jotting down the cards that come up. And some notes on the wording for the questions. I'm using a similar questions that I use each week as the moon moves from one sign to another every 2 to 3 days. And each time that happens, I sit down with my journal and I pull cards about partnering with the energies and what energies are being brought to my personal awareness. And so for this one, I'm doing it in for my personal self, but also for others. So I'm going to shuffle the deck a little bit more. Drink my almond milk. So the first question is, what is this new moon in Aquarius bringing to our awareness? What is it highlighting? What is being highlighted during this moon cycle? Just focusing on that question, cutting the deck, and pulling a card out. The Ten of Vessels. The key word on this card is happiness. I'm getting the idea that we need to be aware of the wisdom and ideas of us being responsible for our own happiness. That it's up to us to do the things, to focus on the things, to practice the things, to be the thing that brings greater joy and happiness and peace into our lives. Nothing outside of us can truly fulfill us. And when we look outside of us for our happiness and for fulfillment, for peace, we may find it in little bits, but it's not as long lasting, it's not as powerful, it's not as empowering, and it quickly passes. But when we cultivate happiness within ourselves, when we cultivate joy within ourselves, when we cultivate peace within ourselves, that lasts. And this new moon in Aquarius cycle is asking us to be aware of the difference, to simply be present as we go through this cycle and witness where we may be looking outside of us for joy, for peace, for happiness, and witness when we may be working more internally and cultivating and practicing a deep inner happiness, an inner joy, an inner peace that's not necessarily reliant on what's happening around us. There's a lot of water flowing out of this card, and it's splashing across the rocks, and it's overflowing. There are 10 bowls sitting on the rocks of the waterfall, and they're being filled to overflowing. So I feel like another aspect that's being brought to our awareness here is that there is an abundance of happiness, of joy, of peace, of fulfillment available to us. And we simply need to open ourselves up to receiving that. I think that begins energetically. It begins with how we focus our mind, what we're thinking about. And remaining open. As a vessel, we can't exactly be filled up if we're closing up all the time. And sometimes when there's a lot going on around us that stirs up more negative emotions, we'll close up, and our heart space will close up. Our perception, our ability to perceive, our ability to receive closes up. And eventually we dry out. We need that flow of spirit, of energy, of well-being, of love, to be able to flow into and through us, overflowing. And there's great power in that. The more we allow ourselves to fill up, the more we allow ourselves to take whatever time and space we need to cultivate that inner space of completion, of fulfillment, of joy, of peace, of happiness. The more we do that, the more that we can flow that out into the world, and the more the world changes because of it. It's good stuff. I'm going to write down card. I often do this just in writing. Wanted to do it this way this time, and I'll take notes from the video to add into my journal. I like to refer back to them. as the month progresses. So I'm going to set this card off to the side. And look at the next. So how can we best partner with the energies that are coming with this new moon cycle, that this new moon in Aquarius is bringing? How can we best partner with it? That's another question. Cutting the deck. Ooh. This is the 14th card in the Major Arcana, and in this deck it is called Balance. In many decks it's called Temperance. In this card we see a tangle of roots and branches and trunks of a tree. And we see two serpents, a red serpent and a black serpent, and they're wound around that tree and intertwined. And below there's a stone that the tree has grown around. And there's a face in that stone. It's very primordial. Think of the face of that stone as being a foundation stone, think of the question of what do we grow from? What sort of foundation do we have underneath of us? What sort of foundation supports us? Does our foundation support us? And in this image with the face, it makes me think of the earth. Not just the physical earth, but the spirit of the earth, the spirit of nature. The intertwining of the serpents shows that balance isn't necessarily coming from separate things being weighed out, but it comes from a weaving and an intertwining of everything in our lives, internal, external. I think the strongest message I'm getting from this right now is to be focusing on what will give us a solid foundation, what helps us stand strong, what helps us retain our balance, and at the same time accepting and being all of ourselves, understanding that all the aspects of ourselves and our experiences are intertwined. And in doing so, and in honoring ourselves and in honoring all aspects of ourselves, and perhaps even in honoring all aspects of others, we may find greater balance and growth and stability. It's beautiful. I love that. It's also a card that's been coming up in a lot of readings lately for me as well. 14 balance. Okay, so I want to pull one last card here. And this is a card to represent the deep wisdom of the earth, the deep wisdom of spirit, and further information that can uplift us and empower us as we move through this next moon cycle. And I'm just going to pull that card right from the bottom of the deck. Practice I've been doing a lot of lately. Okay. 8 of Vessels. How well these will show up. Dark video. Dark moon. It all works. So this is the 8 of Vessels. And the key word here is rebirth. And immediately what came to my mind is to remember that there is no end, that all things go through cycles and are born, live, die, are reborn, live, die. In nature we see this and this wisdom beautifully. And in that, nothing is ever exactly the same after each cycle. And that cycles are a part of life here on Earth, and that they're a part of every aspect of our life. It's easy to get caught up in what might be happening around us and feel like it's the end, the only thing that'll ever happen, or that it'll remain the same. And yet the wisdom of the earth and the wisdom of spirit speaks of constant regeneration, constant evolution, constant rebirth. And to remember that and to hold that space in our heart, to perhaps take a longer view and to move on. It's a traditional aspect of the 8 of Cups, which is the equivalent in other decks in this. To be willing to move on from any set ideas about how things should be, how things should look, or that they're only going to look and be a certain way if they are going to turn out the way we want them to. But to allow the natural cycle within ourselves, within our society, and within nature. To not struggle with that so much. And be ready to just keep going forward, keep flowing. Trust the process. Beautiful. So our 3 cards again. The 10 of Vessels, Balance, the Temperance card, and the 8 of Vessels. From the Wildwood Tarot. So many blessings to you with this moon cycle, and may you find that you have greater solidity within yourself while still staying in a place that allows flow, allows forward movement. May your foundation be one that truly supports you and helps you grow stronger. And may you find that source of inner happiness and peace and joy and fulfillment within you more and more as this moon month progresses. Blessed be. Namaste. And have a beautiful, beautiful lunar month.